everyone, it's me, Jacob, and today we're going to be doing a video about Britain's #1 safari park. See, we're coming up with the livest news that we've ever seen, and we're going to be showing you big cats, big lions, and giraffes, just for you today on this video. So we're going to be seeing what we can see when we went there.
Who was that guy? Anyway, let's get on with the journey. The place I went to is Longleat, which is a safari park. Also, it was the hottest day in the UK so far. There's two ways you can explore Longleat. You can go to the main park and walk around, then you can go to the drive-through safari, or vice versa. We tend to do it the other way around. You go to the safari park first, drive around, because normally you catch feeding time, which we did. At the start of safari, there's a walking part. You can go to the loo, you can see some of the animals. So first we briefly passed the giraffes on the way to the painted dogs. Not to be mistaken for hyenas. Linger around the dogs for a little bit. You can head up to the ring lemur cage with the goats. We went through the gate, saw this geezer. As we were walking through the lemur cage, we thought that the lemurs were locked away due to the heat, but we discovered that as we walked around the side of the gate, we looked back into the cage and they were all huddled together in the shade, which was kind of cute. And then we turned around and there was a little pygmy goat there. Then we headed back down to the giraffes as it was feeding time. So it makes for getting pictures a little easier, especially with the lens. Let's talk about the lens. So I was using a Tamron 18 to 300mm. This boy gets big. Look at that bad boy. It's really helpful. Ever since I've got it, I've wanted to go to Longleat. Then after the giraffes, we wrapped up there, got in the car and started the safari. The first thing you tend to see in the safari is the emus. This time they had some eggs out, which was really cool to see. You don't tend to see the eggs. Then we skipped quite a bit. We went past the flamingo and vulture cage. It's kind of annoying, a bit like the painted dogs, to get pictures through the cage. And we also skipped the monkeys. We want to see a monkey get run over. And next up was Annie's Heaven, which unfortunately Annie was tucked away. I don't know if it's too hot. She doesn't tend to come out much. But luckily there were some really cool Ankole cattle? Ankole cattle? That's how it's telling me to pronounce it. Ankole. Ankole. Just behind. Their horns were massive. They were really cool. Everything was kind of sitting under the shade in the trees. So we sort of just whipped around the top, and then on the left there was some camels in their natural habitat on grass. I bet you've never seen a camel on grass. This guy kind of looks like he was saying, "What's up?" He was sort of giving me the head nod. Then just around the bend is the deer park, which you can feed them if you want. We were sitting in the queue, but they had so much food at that time that we thought it might not be worth feeding them, to be honest. But I did get to get some pictures of some deer with antlers, which was pretty cool. Whipped around the top there. Most of them were tucked under a tree again. A lot of stuff was hiding under trees in shade. As I say, it was 34 degrees, so it's pretty warm. This might be the best picture. There was all these little deers. I'm not going to have to stop laughing again now. This guy. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. Just around the corner was the rhinos, which were actually out for once. Hopefully in the future I will get more actual footage, like video footage. I got some video footage of some red pandas, little sneak peek of what's coming up. I got some really good pictures of some red pandas. Now we're getting into the good stuff. The big cats. First you enter the tiger territory. Normally they're really hard to see because they're either tucked really far back, they're feeding on top of a branch, or if they can feed on top of a branch, what minute tigers are these? The tiniest tiger in the world. And now we will see the tiniest tiger in the world. This time I managed to capture a really cool picture. These two tigers playing together, which is really cool. It's big kitty cats. Next up we have the lions, which are normally in 2 packs, I believe. For the first ones we saw, they were behind some cages. This one's really cool because you can see all the scars on her face from where they've probably been play fighting or potentially real fighting, to be honest. And then some of them were taking refuge under a tree just a little bit further in. There's a funny story about this picture I'm about to show you. I was sitting in the car manually focusing them onto the male lion. As you probably know already, when you're focusing it zooms in really far so that you can get the right focus. As I was focusing in, the male lion turned his head towards me. It was a bit of a jump scare, but I managed to get this really cool picture. Then we moved on to the second group. They're all lined up against a fence, having a little bit too much fun, let's say. Anyway, moving on. The cheetah kingdom, which one of them was right off, like it was pretty much pointless to get a picture of them, but you did go up and there were some behind some fences again. Once again, it's the fence pictures, don't tend to love them. Then the last drive-through section is the wolves, which were all taking refuge in this massive shady spot. They just look like rocks, so I only took this picture. Wasn't much to look at. We were gonna wait, but it would have just been silly to wait for ages. So next up we parked up. We're in the main park now. We headed straight all the way down to the very end, sort of the furthest part you can get to, which is the family farmyard. We saw this little baby emu.
This little baby emu. And he was my friend. We talked to each other and we loved each other. And he talked to me and I talked to him. And we had a wonderful time. I took him out for some ramen. He took me out for some doner kebab. And we had a brilliant time. Me and this little emu were dancing, frolicking through the forest together. Annoying the wallabies, loving life. And then all of a sudden, the reindeers came out.
The reindeers were getting fed, which was pretty cool, so we got some really close-up pictures of the reindeers. Then moving up to the birds, if you want to, you can pay for a little pot. Don't know what it is, but it's like this weird white liquid, and you can go in there and they can like land on your hands, feed out of the pots, and it's really cool. Got a few pictures in there. Now for arguably the best part. I am so happy with these pictures. This little guy was so out in the open and so photogenic because of the green background. Ones that I've got with the green background, I potentially want to print out. I think they are just stunning pictures in my opinion. So I got a few of this one. I got a video of it walking around. Don't worry if you love red pandas, they will make a little sneaky return just after the boat ride. Then we headed to the crocodile enclosure. Normally a bit too dark in there. Very humid today because of how hot it was. But this is also where I messed up. I was going to bring a spare battery, but I didn't. And then I saw the dreaded sign, which was the red flashing battery. So I was a little bit careful from now on with what I was taking and how often I was turning my camera on annoyingly. But I still got some amazing pictures. I think because it was such a hot day, but also we were in such a humid location where I spotted it, it just drained my battery so fast. From the crocodiles we went into the koalas, which I always find pretty funny because they look so depressing. This little guy, I don't know what he was going through. It's what I felt when I looked at my battery and realised it was about to die. I think we were going through the same thing. We were both in the same boat. After the koalas we headed over to the boat trip, which is always really nice to go on it. They just got some hippos in a couple of weeks ago. Annoyingly, they weren't actually in the lake. They were sort of segregated off behind a fence, but I did manage to get a picture of them. They've got this little island on the middle, which is pretty cool. It's got monkeys on it. They were all sitting in the shade. After the monkeys, on the right hand side, you get the gorillas. And this one was taking refuge in a little cave. The other one was banging on the door. There's a really funny little story about the one that's banging on the door. Apparently behind that door is a long corridor, which is where they come in to feed the gorillas. So all the keepers can see down the end of that corridor is a big old gorilla head sticking its face through the window. And then you whip around. We also get to see the monkeys from the other side. One was sitting a bit more in the open, which was kind of cool to see. Some other interesting watches. I took this picture in black and white, just felt like it worked in black and white. Now for the red pandas again, hiding up in the trees, these ones. This one was trying to fall asleep, probably trying to get out of the sun. Now, as I was taking a picture of this one laying in the tree, my girlfriend spotted one right up in the top, and this might be one of my favourite pictures. Heading to the jungle kingdom, there wasn't much out in here, to be honest. Saw some meerkats with a tortoise. That was kind of funny to see. And the otters were darting in and out. I wish I got video of them rather than taking a picture. We live and we learn. Did manage to get this little picture. Then we headed back to the car. Overall, it was a very unexpected day, to be honest. I thought we weren't going to see much, but we did. Actually saw more than we normally see, which was really cool. On such a hot day, I think I've learnt my lesson to bring another battery. I should just bring another battery no matter what. I just thought, oh, my battery will be fine. But I ended up with some of my favourite pictures I've ever taken, really, especially of the red pandas. It's really cool to bring back some of the gorilla pictures. That was really dark. The tiger picture in particular, that was really dark. And overall, I think it was a really cool day. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If you've actually made it to this far, thank you very much. And until next time, I'll be seeing you, my friends. Goodbye.
It was a dark winter's night where the goblins came out to play.
The red pandas are coming for you, and they will get you in your sleep.